We often hear about stock market volatility, but what does that mean for the average investor? Joining me today is Tony Torino, a senior financial planner at Barnum Financial Group. Welcome back to the show. It's nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about what's going on with the market right now.
Well, I think what you're having right now is just very simply earnings season is over. Economic data has been relatively flat, and it gives investors a chance to focus on what's going on around the globe, like potential concerns of China, potential concerns in Europe, and that's what you're seeing in terms of everybody. It's not that the news has been overly terrible, it's just that they have nothing to focus on. You had great news with corporate earnings, and now you have nothing, so immediate focus is on, what's not going so hot.
And that's really what's going on in the European countries at this point.
Well, I think what's going on there is that you do have some fundamental issues that could cause problems, but the idea is simply Greece is the headline right now, and the fact of the matter is that they are spending more than they take in taxes, and the biggest effect of that is that other countries have lent them money, and if they default on being able to pay those countries back, that could cause some global turmoil because you have other countries depending on those cash flows.
Like a big domino effect.
Yeah, it could be.
So why do we care so much here in the United States what's going on in Greece?
Well, I think you care because you have a global market, and as you saw in 2008 when you had a potential travesty in the marketplace, the global economy pulled together to stabilize it. That's the same thing. Markets are correlating closer. They work together. Offline, we were talking, and just take a look. If you look at every night at the Asian markets, if they're up or down, 90% of the time the United States market's following suit. And that's because there's dependencies on consumption and exports and imports. So you have a global economy. You have to be very cognizant that what affects one country can affect many.
And what do you think could be the worst case scenario if this doesn't solve itself?
In my own personal view, which is obviously not a recommendation of MetLife, but I would tell you the worst case scenario in my eyes would be a default of multiple European countries in that union, causing potential disbandment of maybe the euro.
Okay.
Something of that nature, and some people might view that as a benefit. I would tell you that would be a problem, and then because that could mean a lot for the United States. You have a lot of companies that are multinationals that do a lot of business over there, and it could have a big effect on them.
All right, well then what type of advice are you offering to investors?
I think the best advice right now is sit with your team or your advisor and just figure out what your end goal is, whether it's retirement, it's that first house, it's college, whatever the case is. I think you have to be very focused on the goal, and you have to make sure that the portfolio is designed to hit the goal. So if you need a 3 or 4% return, you might not need that much risk. Do a gut check on your portfolio and make sure that that's how you're invested.
So let's talk about the portfolio. You offer complimentary reviews. What are you looking for? What should be there?
More or less what I look for, the first thing when we meet with a client is, or a prospect, is say, look, what are you looking for? And I spend usually half the meeting just listening. Tell me what you want, tell me what you're looking for. Then I ask them what they think they have. Then we do an analysis to see if it matches suit, because a lot of clients don't realize something called an investment policy statement is very important, and that tells you exactly how your money should be invested, the risks you should be taking, some idea of range of return that you might get, the volatility or the risk you're willing to take. So what's important is to be able to take a look at that and see if their money is actually being managed. The one common fall that I see is that they might have multiple advisors, or one advisor is not looking at a holistic approach. They're not looking at all their assets. So the best example of that is, let's say you had $1 million, you said, Tone, I want you to invest 250 of it for me. Well, what about the other 750? If I'm not asking that question, I'm very pinpointed on a 25% of your assets, which might not give you the whole picture, or might not be the best for your scenario, your case.
Tony, that's great advice. Thank you so much for being here. We're already out of time. Time flies while you're having fun, right?
Yeah, right.
All right, if you want to get in touch with Tony Torino at 203-513-6015, that number is on your screen, or you could email him at torino@metlife.com. I'm sorry, what is the email address?
A Torino.
A Torino. There we go, at metlife.com. All right, coming up next, we're going to be back in the kitchen. We're going to make roast tenderloin. That's when Connecticut Style returns. Don't go anywhere.